Hey folks, welcome back to Only Best Fancy Novels. My name's Rabin, and today I want to talk about The Fall of the Kings by Kushner and Delia Sherman. And this is the third standalone novel in the Tremontaine universe. Um, Initially written by Kushner and then contributed to by so many different authors since, mainly in the form of short stories. There's really only three full-length novels in this series, and this is the third of them. So, similar to the other two novels, like this is its own standalone thing. It takes place in a different time chronologically from the previous two books that we looked at. And this one might be the strangest installment of the three to date, to be honest. This is the one that ultimately answers the question for me on if this world has anything that's fantastical about it, or if it's just an unnamed alternate history kind of setting that we're dealing with. So yeah, the concept to it is simple. It's been generations since an uprising of the aristocracy killed the last king, and essentially bringing the age of wizards to an end. So long, in fact, that time when wizards were a thing and a king was a thing has transcended well past history and almost into the point of legend. With the truth of the accounts from that time debated and guessed at for the most part. But when one particular scholar makes a startling discovery, the truth about that time is about to be revealed. So, I love each of these books. These books have all been just standout reads for me this year, and this one just really feels like the perfect capstone to loosely connected trilogy. Like I mentioned, it takes place in a different time period compared to the previous two books. Like this one, I think it takes place at least one generation after the Privilege of the Sword, and in this one, as in all of them, like the main linking thread is the Tremontaine family, who is present here in a rather interesting form. But the novel itself, it actually focuses on two different characters. The first of those is Terran Campion, who is an aristocrat of he is an aristocrat of with certain predilections that results in his challenges that he faces over the course of this novel being rather interesting to read about. And then we have Basil St. Cloud, the scholar in question, who makes the discovery that is at the heart of the plot that kind of cushions this particular story. Because that's the thing about these books, like they all have these engaging plots when you look at them, like this engaging sequence of events that they tell. But setting that aside, those wrapped around those events and through them, and adding like emotional texture to them, you can say emotional weight to them, is a romance. And this one, similar to the previous two books, we have we have a same sex romance, and much like the other, like this book, it's very much in keeping with the previous books in just everything that these books get right, in terms of the focus on the focus on the interpersonal drama, the focus on the politics, on the intrigue, on the tension, on the sequence of unfolding events, and the way that this shapes their characters and their thought processes and their actions and these kind of things. Like these books are all about human drama. They're all about human relationships and the complexities that come with them. And this one is par for the course in all of that. Even if it does have it does skew more to the fantastical than either of the previous two did. Like those two books have nothing fantastical in them compared to this one. That being said, like this book itself, much like the other two, it's just engagingly crafted is the best way I can think of to put it. Like we have multiple plot threads we follow through here. we have multiple characters who they each have their own thing going, and as the story develops and you see the way that these characters, even some of the characters that you initially write off as just a side quest, effectively to this main story, like the way that they impact the story overall, like it's just like this is very much a drama. Like I said in I think it was the first video I made on the first book, Swords Point. Like this reads almost like a stage play, unfolding before you, and that's very much a sense you get in this one with just the way that the characters, the drama between them unfolds, because that is like the heart and soul of these books, the drama, and the plot, the sequence of events, and that kind of thing that is cultural, that is secondary, almost secondary in nature. It's almost there just as a device just to push ahead the relationships and that character dynamic that is the primary focus of these books. All that being said, this book does have a quality of mystery to it, because we do have this book is very much an exploration of the history of this world. Like we're first given an idea of how of the status quo when it comes to the present world's understanding of that time period, and then we get the torpedo through the existing body of knowledge. That is the revelations that Master Saint Cloud comes to. And then setting all of that aside, interwoven through all of this is very much a book that it kind of how to put this, it kind of taps into the idea of like the academic scene and how it handles, like how it almost like the bubble in which it exists, like the whole concept of academia, almost the bubble in which it exists in terms of in terms of the lifestyle of the people who are part of the system, in terms of what they consider important, and of the and critical and these kind of things, compared to the actual compared to like real world struggles and these kind of things. Like it does kind of dabble with academia in interesting ways, like the idea of academia in interesting ways in here, especially when we weigh in like the idea of the aristocrats who form the majority of the academic personnel that we see in this book, as compared to one notable character who has a more rural background by comparison. So, like that it's hard to describe it other than to say that idea kind of is interwoven into the book in an interesting way, especially given, once again, we circle right back to one of the main POVs that we follow, Basil St. Cloud, who is a professor in this particular world. So all in all, I think this was just a perfect way to cap off this trilogy of novels. Like, it does everything right that the previous books did right as well, while having a more fantastical twist in that I think readers of fantasy in particular will appreciate. And if you finish this and you're kind of disheartened that there isn't more, the good news is that there's a whole slew of short stories set within this universe, and there's quite a bit more content to read if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Like, Ellen Kushner really created something different when she came up in this world, and just the way that the type of stories that she wants to tell in it. And I'm very happy I finally got around to reading these novels. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the Fall of the Kings by Ellen Kushner and Delia Sherman. Yeah, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.